The shinae is an essential tool for the practice of kendo. But there's so many different types, shapes and styles out there, it can be hard to know which is the right one for you. My name's Andy Fisher, and on today's episode of the Kendo Show, we're going to look at different shapes, styles, and how to choose the right shinae, as well as how to look after it. There are lots of different shapes of shinae. There's lots of different words to describe them as well. But to make things simple, I'd like to break them into three main types. You have standard or basic shinae. These are mainly the ones that are used for regular practice and tend to cost the least. You have dobari shinae, often also called jisen gata. These are shinae that are well suited for tournaments or for people that prefer a shinae that has a lighter feel. And then you also have koto gata, or also called chokuto shinae. These are shinae that are shaped and made to feel a similar balance to a genuine Japanese sword. To look at each of those types individually, this is a sort of regular shinae, a standard shape shinae. This is a dobari shinae, and this is a chokudo shinae, okay, or a koto shinae. The dobari has the most extreme shape, as it has the largest. This is the do section here, this part, okay, and it's called a dobari because this part is very large, and the tip is somewhat thinner. This makes a balance that feels like the tip is much lighter than it actually is, and the shinae overall feels very well balanced, very quick to swing, because the center of balance is set towards the hands. The tip is thinner though, so it has less durability. So it's recommended mainly for use in tournaments as opposed to everyday practice. The koto gata, or the chokuto shinae, is a much straighter shape overall. The width here at the do and at the tip is not so much different. Because of this, the tip is thicker, so it has more durability. So this can be a good choice for long, heavy practices, but the weight of the shinae is more along the whole blade, and compared to the dobari, it feels more heavy in the tip. Many high-graded sensei like to use this kind of shinae. It feels very similar to a genuine sword, and it delivers very strong, solid hits, and it's very good at controlling the center. It's very well suited for one-shot style or ippatsu style kendo. But it can be difficult to perform more nimble techniques. This is the standard or the basic shinae. These are essentially the most cost-effective type shinae. These have a shape that's somewhere in between the two of these. They tend to be made from a slightly lower grade of bamboo, but generally the balance is somewhat so-so. Nothing amazing, but also not so bad usually. But they're built mainly to be used for regular practice, and usually they can stand up to a little bit more punishment than a regular dobari shinae. My recommendation is that you choose the regular practice shinae for your everyday keiko needs, and you should choose a dobari or jisen gata shinae if you like a light feeling shinae for jigeiko or for shiai. If you prefer something that is going to give you a lot more durability, even at the sake of feeling a little bit heavier, then a koto gata shinae is also a very good choice. Those are the three main types of shinae. Another important aspect to consider when choosing a shinae is the quality of the leather fittings. This is the tsukagawa, the handle. You have the nakayui, this part here that supports the bamboo staves. You have the sakigawa, that's this part that protects the tip of the shinae and keeps everything together. It's all bound with the tsuru, this string here. Inside here there is a sakigomu, which is a rubber stopper, and inside the hilt is a small metal plate called a chigiri. For the leather fittings, there are two main types of tsukagawa. There is what's known as a single tsukagawa, or a single folded tsukagawa, which is like this one here. These are often easily recognized by the black leather lacing that goes around the rim here. And the loops that are used to tie the tsuru up with, there's just one of those with a single type tsukagawa. This is a double folded tsukagawa. Here the lacing is white, though it's not always the case. Here the tsukagawa has been folded twice, and usually this is made from a higher grade of leather. There are two loops, one from either side, with which you use to tie up the tsuru. Thanks to the higher grade leather that's usually used with the double folded tsukagawa, these tend to be more durable and tend not to change shape as much. Cheaper, single folded tsukagawa have a tendency to tear occasionally with extended use, and they can often stretch from their original shape. So please bear in mind this is another aspect of choosing the correct shinae. At this point, I'd like to introduce to you the deluxe grade practice shinae from our sponsors, KendoStar. This is a great all-round shinae. It's good for practice. It's great if you're just starting out in Kendo too. It's great for beginners. It's great as a first shinae, but also for more experienced kendoka, it's a great shinae to get you through your everyday practice. They're sold in a set of 3. They're made from deluxe grade bamboo. The shape overall is, like I said before, something between a dobari shinae and a koto-gata shinae. So it's reasonably well balanced, but also keeping durability. And it features that double layered, double folded tsukagawa. Okay, so you've got a little bit of extra durability in the leather fittings as well. And they come in at a great price. So get onto KendoStar.com and check those out when you're in search of a new shinae. Okay, so once you've chosen the right shinae for you, here's what you need to do to look after it. I really recommend that you go through this process when you first receive a new shinae from whichever supplier you choose. Essentially, especially if these are coming from overseas, these shinae will have been stored in some kind of aircraft container or something like that and shipped over to you, and there's a good chance that the bamboo may have dried out a little. So it's definitely worth applying some maintenance to the shinae before you use them for the first time. The last thing you want is you get that brand new shinae that you've ordered from Japan or whatever and take it to your first practice, and it's really disappointing when it breaks straight away. So do think about applying some maintenance to the shinae before you use it, even when it's brand new. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Something that's going to help you out is an awl like this, a kind of pointed tool like that. But if you don't have a specific awl, I'm sure there's something that you can use to do it. And you can get these shinae maintenance tools as well. These are very useful. This will be less something that we'd use on a new shinae, but on a shinae that you're going to look after, that you've used a few times, it's definitely worth having around. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this tsuru here and we're going to untie it. Okay, we're going to untie everything, and this is where this awl comes in handy because it is quite fiddly. It's quite difficult to get at. Now be very careful when doing this with a sharp object and make sure that you always aim away from your body. Do not aim it towards you. Okay, I can tell you a very bad experience I had myself where I did this and I actually came very close to a very serious injury by stabbing myself. So do be very careful when using these tools, okay? And make sure that you're always pointing them away from your body, okay? So we're going to untie all of the tsuru like this, okay? And it does make it much quicker if you have some tools to help you, okay? And once we've got it all apart, we're going to apply some oil, okay? Now the oil that we're going to use, you can use lots of different types of oil. There's different types of Shinai oil out there that you can buy, but actually, personally, I just use a regular vegetable oil that you can get from the supermarket. Some people say it's not so good for the Shinai, but personally, I disagree. I think it's perfectly fine. Okay, so once we've managed to untie all of that, this tsukagawa can be removed, but actually it can be very difficult to get off. If you've purchased a shinae that already has it attached, then, you know, if you can take it off, maybe it would help, but it's not absolutely necessary. So for the sake of the video, we're going to leave it on just for now, okay? Okay, and then we're going to untie the nakayui, okay? Again, we're going to use this tool just to loosen it up slightly. To untie the nakayui. Okay. There it is. So once that's all untied, we're going to, just got that wrapped around there. There we go. Once that's all untied, this sakigawa will come off, and this can stay all as a single piece, okay? You can just pop that down. And then remove the sakigomu, okay? Okay, so now, if we leave this on, which we can do, especially for a brand new shinai, yeah, these staves will slightly come apart like this, okay? And what I recommend you do is take a tissue or a cloth, coat it with oil, and I want you to rub the staves on the inside and the outside with oil, okay? Quite a liberal coating is fine. You don't have to be too conservative. You can give it quite a good coating, okay? And then once you've done that, I recommend you leave it for 2 or 3 days until it dries, okay? Before you start using it. And then you're going to put it back together, which we'll go through in a second, okay? Now, if this is a shinai that you've used a few times, you might find that it's started to flake or splinter a little bit, especially on the parts where you've been using it to hit. Now, also you can see where the sort of marks from where you've been hitting. You can actually use this to examine if you've been using the shinai correctly and been hitting with the correct area. Okay, so these are all in this area, so I've been doing reasonably good with this one. So with a tool like this, you can also use some sandpaper to sand it, but these tools are very, very useful. They have different sorts of blades. They're not extremely sharp, but they're shaped in such a way that help you. This one's got a curved blade here, which helps keep the shape of the shinai correctly, as well as a straight one for getting rid of very sort of stubborn splinters. Yeah, but you just rub that against the bamboo, exactly where the splinter is, and remove any splinters or sort of flakes that way. Okay. You need to carefully inspect all aspects of the bamboo staves and make sure that they aren't broken, because if they're broken, then you must stop using it, okay? Using a broken shinai is very, very dangerous. Okay, do not repair it, don't tape it up or anything like that. You must replace it, okay? You can replace the stave from another shinai that you've also broken, or you would need to replace the whole shinai, okay? But do not use the broken shinai, okay? So once we've coated it with oil, after we've applied our maintenance by shaving away any splinters or rubbed it with some sandpaper, we're going to apply some oil and we're going to let it dry. Once we come back to it, after a few days, we're going to decide to put it back together, okay? So exactly as we started. Now, if this is a shinai that you have used for some time and you can get the tsukagawa off, then take off the tsukagawa and you can rotate it as well. There's nothing wrong with rotating the shinai. That's absolutely a great way of extending the durability of a shinai. So that's a good idea too, okay? So we're going to get this sakigomu and we're going to pop it exactly back where we got it from in the end there. And we're also, I'm going to pop these tools down for a moment, and we're going to take the sakigawa and we're going to place it again with this ridge on the top, with the string on the top, on the correct side, okay? Like this, okay? So it's on nice and tight. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this suru and we're going to thread it through the loops here. Through the loops here. And then we're going to take it back upwards. Now, different types of strings have different ways of doing this. This one has a small piece of leather as a loop to help you do it, but sometimes the loop is made up in the string itself. Either way is fine. But we're going to pass this back through here, this loop. through here and bring it back like this, okay? Then this goes underneath the leather parts, here like this, and it's pulled tightly, okay? It's brought back upwards and around, down through here, and this part goes through this loop. And it's then all pulled up nice and tightly, like this. Then it's threaded back the opposite way around the back of the loops of the tsukagawa, like this, and wound up appropriately. This can be wrapped around as many times as it will fit. Next, the nakayui is taken around the shinae, and it's best to keep the whole thing nice and taut. Around the shinae, once, twice, and 3 times. Keeping a good amount of tension on the whole thing. It's good to use your thumb to hold the nakayui in place so that the tension isn't lost. Then from below, the nakayui is placed beneath the tsuru and then back through itself in this way. And pulled tightly. This should keep tension in the nakayui, so you can now remove your thumb. It's now taken up and around the back of the tsuru once more, and again back through itself, like this. The same process is repeated below, like this, ensuring to pull nice and tightly each time. And then one more time up above, like this, making sure it's nice and tight. Any excess leather here can be easily cut with a pair of scissors. And then you have completed reassembling the shinae, and it's ready for you to use. So there we have a short introduction to the different types, shapes and styles of shinae available, as well as how to maintain them. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please don't forget to hit that like button as well as share it around social media. The Kendo Show, of course, is a free service that aims to promote the understanding and practice of Kendo around the world. It's supported by our sponsors, KendoStar, a brand new Kendo equipment website that aims specifically to deal with the needs of international Kendo practitioners. It's got free shipping on all orders, and the equipment over there is really top-notch, so do check it out. It's KendoStar.com. Also, you can support the Kendo Show by getting onto our Patreon, patreon.com/thekendoshow. Thank you very much for watching today, and we do look forward to seeing you in the next episode. If you've got any suggestions or anything you'd like us to cover in future episodes, please don't forget to leave us a comment down below. Once again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Kendo Show. If you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you, please consider contributing to our Patreon fund. This will help us keep bringing content to you on a regular basis and continually improving the quality. Thank you so much for your continued support.